babe, since we've been together.
They called the 1970s the golden age of R&B, and they were right. But behind some of the most beautiful love songs ever recorded, there was pain you never heard about. Broken relationships, recording sessions that almost fell apart, songs the artists themselves didn't want to release. You've been singing these songs your whole life, but you never knew the real story. Until now. Number 10, Jackson 5, I'll Be There. Michael Jackson is singing about love and loyalty with a conviction most grown men can't fake. You hear that boy's voice and you don't hear a child. You hear something ancient with something that already knew what loss felt like. Produced by Hal Davis for Motown Records, the song was co-written by Berry Gordy himself. Number 9, Gladys Knight and the Pips. Neither One of Us. You ever been in a relationship that you knew was over, but neither of you would say it, still making dinner, still sitting on the same couch, still saying goodnight, but something left a long time ago, and you both know it. You just can't be the one to say it first. That is this song, word for word. Released in 1973 on Soul Records, a Motown subsidiary, and written by Jim Weatherly. But this record gave Gladys Knight the canvas she needed, and she didn't just sing it, she lived it. The Pips behind her weren't decoration, their harmonies were the emotional echo of everything she was feeling. Witnesses at a funeral nobody wanted to attend. The song hit number 1 on the R&B chart, number 2 on the Hot 100, and won Gladys a Grammy for Best Pop Vocal Performance. And it was one of the last major records she made for Motown before tensions with the label pushed her out the door. Oh, that's the fun fact. A song about two people who can't let go was also her farewell to the label she couldn't make work anymore.
When it comes to saying goodbye, that's
art imitating life in the most bittersweet way possible. This one fades behind Midnight Train to Georgia in most conversations. But the restraint in Gladys Knight's voice here, the way she holds back just enough to keep singing, that is mastery. She proved you don't have to scream to make someone feel something. If you're enjoying this so far, then go ahead and hit that like button. It helps us keep making content like this for you. Number 8 got banned on some radio stations, not for being vulgar, but for telling the truth.
If this song just hit you in that quiet place, don't let this moment be a one-time thing. Subscribe to Demo. We're building a home for real R&B and soul. The kind that heals, the kind that tells the truth. Hit subscribe and come back whenever you need a song that understands you.
Number 8, Billy Paul, Me and Mrs. Jones.
Me and Mrs. Jones.
That piano, those strings, and then Billy Paul opens his mouth and confesses to an affair, not with shame, not hiding behind metaphor, with tenderness so real that for a second you forget what he's actually saying. And then it hits you, and you feel the love anyway. Produced by Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff for Philadelphia International Records, this was the Philly soul sound at its most lush and cinematic.
But it's much too strong to let it.
Now, the song hit number 1 on both the Hot 100 and the R&B chart in 1972 and won Billy Paul a Grammy. But some radio stations refused to play it. Not for explicit content. There's nothing explicit here. They refused because it made an affair sound romantic. Conservative stations put it on restricted playlists. Some church communities actively discouraged it, and that disapproval made people want it more.
It's wrong, but it's much too strong.
Here's your fun fact. Billy Paul was in his late 30s when this came out. And that age is exactly what the song needed. A 20-year-old can't sing this and make you believe it. You need someone who sounds like they've actually sat across that table, actually felt what they were giving up. He never had another hit like it. And in some ways, that's part of the story. The song was so specific, so real, it became both his greatest achievement and the shadow he couldn't step out of. What a shadow to live in. Number 7 had a falsetto so high and so pure, it almost didn't sound human. Number 7, the Stylistics, You Make Me Feel Brand New.
I'll never find the words, my love.
You've been through it, life has been heavy, and then someone, the right someone, helps you find your way back to yourself. That's this song. Released in 1974 on Avco Records and produced by Tom Bell, this record is a duet of two emotions, Russell Tompkins Jr.'s falsetto on his verses and Arian Love's deeper, smoother tone on his.
Precious love.
And the contrast between those two voices creates a beautiful push and pull. Like two people taking turns to say thank you to each other. The song peaked at number 2 on the Hot 100 and was even bigger in the UK. The string arrangements are breathtaking, the kind of orchestral work you simply don't hear in popular music anymore. Here's your fun fact. Co-writer Linda Creed was one of the most gifted songwriters of the entire Philadelphia soul era. She passed away from breast cancer in 1986 at just 37 years old. Her name doesn't always come up when people talk about this music, but it should. This song gets buried under the weight of the Stylistics' incredible catalog, but pull it out on its own and really listen. It's not just a love song. It's a thank you. Someone saying, "You came along when I was lost, and you reminded me who I am." That's not a lyric. That's a lifeline. We're halfway through it. Which song has hit you hardest so far? Drop it in the comments right now. Number 6 is a groove so smooth it feels like floating. The Isley Brothers at their most hypnotic. Number 6, the Isley Brothers. For the Love of You. This song doesn't start, it materializes. One moment there's silence, then a guitar, a bass line. Ronald Isley's voice drifting in like smoke. By the time you realize you're inside the song, you're already too deep to leave. Released in 1975 on T-Neck Records, their own label which they fought to build and own themselves, this record was self-produced. By 1975, the Isley Brothers had survived 2 decades in the music business. And they came out the other side with creative control that almost no other black group of their era had earned. And they used it to make exactly this, a slow, cinematic groove that feels like a long Sunday morning with someone you love. The track appeared on the platinum album The Heat Is On and became a defining record for what would later be called Quiet Storm Radio. That late-night format built around smooth, sensual R&B. The Isleys basically wrote the template. Fun fact, the guitar work is played by Ernie Isley.
Your love is real.
Ronald's younger brother, and he doesn't showboat. Every note is exactly where it needs to be, serving the emotion, not competing with it. This song gets bundled in with the rest of the Isleys' prolific run instead of being appreciated on its own. But sit with it alone, late at night, and it becomes something else.
Yeah, you know that I'm living.
A meditation, a prayer, a slow conversation between two people who don't need many words. Ronald Isley at his most effortless, which is when he's working the hardest. Number 5 was written in 20 minutes at a family anniversary dinner, and it accidentally became one of the most played wedding songs in history. Number 5, Heatwave, Always and Forever.
All the songs on Heatwave's first LP were written and composed.
How many weddings have played this song? Think about it. Somewhere right now on a dance floor somewhere in the world, someone is slow dancing to this record. They don't know where it came from, they just know that when it plays, the rest of the world goes quiet. Released in 1977 and written by Rod Temperton, a British musician who would later write Thriller, Rock With You, and Off the Wall for Michael Jackson.
Dream to me that somehow came true.
Before all of that, he built this, and it announced what he was capable of. Lead vocals by Johnny Wilder Jr. are tender without being fragile. He sounds like a man who means every word. The production, warm strings, electric piano, a groove that never rushes, is the sound of someone completely in control of their craft.
That won't ever change.
The song hit number 2 on the R&B chart and became a perennial, showing up in films, TV shows, and every romantic R&B compilation for the next 40 years. Here's your fun fact. Now, Heatwave was genuinely international. Members came from the UK, Zimbabwe, and the United States. Rod Temperton was from a small town in England. And yet the music sounded like it came straight from the heart of American soul. This song gets underrated because familiarity dulls people's ears. When something becomes a wedding standard, you stop actually listening. But hear it fresh, the chord progression, the restraint, the way it breathes, and it's extraordinary.
There'll always be sunshine.
Rod Temperton gave this everything before he gave Michael Jackson everything. And it shows. Number 4 is a song written for one woman that the whole world overheard. Number 4, Commodores, 3 Times a Lady. The greatest love songs aren't written for the world, they're written for one person. The world just happens to overhear. Lionel Richie wrote this at his parents' 37th wedding anniversary. His father gave a toast, his mother started crying, and something in Lionel said, "I need to write this down." He went home and had the song finished in about 20 minutes. It's released in 1978 on Motown, produced by James Carmichael. Yet the arrangement is deliberately bare. Piano, strings, a voice. No tricks, no complexity. Just a man telling a woman she is his friend, his lover, and his lady, and that she is all 3 multiplied. It hit number 1 on both the Hot 100 and the R&B chart. Number 1 in the UK, the Commodores' first pop chart topper, and it turned them from a great funk band into a global force. Fun fact, but some members of the Commodores were skeptical at first. And they were known for funk records like Brick House. A Quiet Ballad felt like a detour. Lionel pushed for it, he was right.
And if I had to live.
People file this under easy listening and stop there, but simplicity is the hardest thing to achieve in music. Anybody can add more notes. It takes genius to know which ones to leave out. Lionel Richie wrote this in 20 minutes, but it took him 30 years of living to know what to say. We're almost at the top.
Yes, you once.
But first, number 3. And this is where I need to stop and tell you something. Because earlier I hinted that one of these songs had a story behind the story. A moment where credit, power, and recognition all collided. This is that moment. Number 3, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes.
All the things that we've been through.
If you don't know me by now, you know this song. And the voice destroying you right now belongs to Teddy Pendergrass. But the name on the record is Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. Let's talk about that. Released in 1972 on Philadelphia International Records, produced by Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff. It hit number 1 on the R&B chart. A landmark record. No question.
If you don't, If you don't
But behind it, real tension. Harold Melvin built the group. His name was on the marquee, but Teddy Pendergrass was the voice, the reason records sold. And over the years, Teddy made it clear he didn't feel fully recognized for that. There are different versions of this story.
we all got our own.
Harold's supporters say he built the platform. Teddy's supporters say you can't put a voice like that in second place and expect silence forever. Eventually, Teddy left, went solo, and proved everything. Platinum debut, massive hits, superstar status.
You'll never, never, never know me. Oh, hey.
Now, a song about not being truly seen, sung by a man who felt exactly that. Teddy Pendergrass sang those words like he meant them. Maybe he did. Number 2, Al Green, Let's Stay Together.
So brand new.
There's some songs you like, some you love, and some feel like they were already inside you before you ever heard them. This is that third kind, released in 1972 on High Records in Memphis, produced by Willie Mitchell. Built on restraint, on space, on letting the groove breathe.
What I need.
And Al Green was the perfect voice for that philosophy. While calm on the surface, but underneath a man terrified of losing someone, gently pleading for things to stay as they are. And that gap between how it sounds and what it's actually saying, that's where all the emotion lives.
Oh, baby, let's.
It hit number 1 on both charts, stayed at the top of the R and B chart for 9 weeks, covered, sampled, placed in films, discovered by new generations for 50 years. It never left. Al Green later walked away from secular music to become a pastor, but before he did, he left us this. Almost enough to be number 1. Almost.
Well, the times are good, bad, happy, sad.
Number 1 is a song most people know, but not many truly understand. Once you hear what I'm about to tell you, you'll never hear it the same again. Number 1, the Stylistics, Betcha By Golly Wow.
Each time you smile.
You didn't expect this, and that's exactly the point. Released in 1972 on Avco Records, produced by Tom Bell, written by Tom Bell and Linda Creed. Before this record, the Stylistics were a Philadelphia group with promise. After it, they were legends. Tom Bell's strings don't overwhelm the song, they hold it. Every instrument serves the emotion, not the other way around. That's what real producing looks like. And then there's Russell Tompkins Jr. His falsetto doesn't just hit the high notes. He lives up there, makes them feel warm, inevitable, like there was never anywhere else for this melody to go.
To shine on you, so I'll know.
The song is pure, no affair, no heartbreak, no industry drama, just one person looking at another and saying, I can barely believe you're real. In 1972, after Vietnam, after years of turbulence, that kind of uncomplicated tenderness wasn't naive, it was the most necessary thing in the world. Every other song on this list has complexity underneath it, pain behind the beauty. Betcha By Golly Wow has none of that. It is exactly what it sounds like. And in a decade full of noise, that purity was the most radical thing of all.